Have you ever heard a band and just felt like you were on an open road? That's the feeling the war on drugs gives people. Today, we're going to talk about their incredible journey, from a basement project all the way to the Grammy stage. This is their story.
So this is the band as you probably know them now. Commanding these huge stages, playing to massive crowds. Their sound is just epic. It's this triumphant image, for sure. But it is a long, long way from where they started out.
And this wasn't just, some indie buzz or a cult following. No. This was the absolute pinnacle of recognition. In 2018, their album, A Deeper Understanding, beat out actual giants like Metallica to win the Grammy for Best Rock Album. I mean, they had officially arrived. But get this, they were almost called the Rigatoni Danzas. I am not kidding. That was a real option on the table. So how in the world does a band with such a famously serious sound, a band that would go on to win a Grammy, start with a joke name like that? Well, let's dig in and find out.
Okay, so the story really kicks off like a lot of great band stories do, with two guys. We're in Philadelphia, it's 2003, and two really unique musicians are about to find each other.
So on one hand, you've got Adam Granduciel, who had just moved over from California, and on the other, there's Kurt Weill, who was coming back home to Philly from Boston. They meet up, they start jamming, and right away they form the core of what would eventually become the war on drugs.
And you can just feel that instant connection from the way Kurt Weill talks about it. It wasn't just about music, it was a shared obsession. He said they totally geeked out on legends like Bob Dylan. I mean, that's the kind of foundation you build a band on. So after a couple years of writing and figuring things out, they make it official in 2005. By 2008, their first full album, Wagon Wheel Blues, is out. The journey was finally starting, but it was about to get really complicated. Right when it felt like they were getting started, the band basically hit a wall of instability. That founding partnership we just talked about, it dissolved. And suddenly, the whole identity of the group was kind of up in the air. So right after their very first tour, Kurt Weill decides to leave. And it really wasn't about drama or fighting. It was about ambition. He had his own thing going on, his own sound, and he knew his goal was to have his own musical career. He had to follow that vision.
And Adam Granduciel has always been super clear about this. He said there was never any falling out or resentment. It was totally amicable. But man, it was a huge turning point. This basically set the stage for Adam to become the one and only driving force behind the band.
And Kurt leaving was really just the beginning. For the next 5 years, the band's lineup was a total revolving door. I mean, look at this, especially the drummer's seat. Through all that chaos, the only constant members were Adam Granduciel and the bassist. This was a band desperately trying to find some stability.
And yet, somehow, through all of that, Adam's vision stayed laser-focused. In 2011, they put out Slave Ambient, and even with all the member changes, it got great reviews. It was proof that the core sound of the band was still there, even if the lineup was always changing.
But the real game changer, the moment they went from a band that critics liked to a band that everyone was talking about, it came from a really dark and difficult place for Adam. The time leading up to their third album, Lost in the Dream, was just defined by Adam's struggle with depression and anxiety, and he poured all of that loneliness, all that isolation, directly into the music. But what's amazing is that he also pushed back against it with these driving, hopeful rhythms. The result was something incredibly personal, but also something everyone could connect with. And the results? They speak for themselves. Their last album, Slave Ambient, didn't even make it onto the main Billboard chart. But in 2014, Lost in the Dream debuted at number 26. This wasn't just a small step up. This was a massive leap. And suddenly, they were on much bigger stages, playing to way bigger crowds. By 2014, the band had really found its sound, found its audience, and was sharing this incredibly powerful music with the world. People were raving, and not just critics, their peers too. I mean, when a songwriter as incredible as Ryan Adams calls your album perfect, you just know you've done something really special. Lost in the Dream was a flat-out modern classic.
So this huge breakthrough really set the stage for their final climb, from being loved by critics to reaching the absolute top of the rock world. And the path from there was just boom, boom, boom. In 2015, they jumped from an indie label to a major one, signing with Atlantic. 2 years later, they dropped A Deeper Understanding, and that was the album that took them all the way to the Grammys.
This picture from Coachella pretty much says it all, right? That long road from a Philly basement through all the lineup changes, all the personal struggles, it led right here, a Grammy-winning band headlining one of the biggest music festivals in the world.
So what is this sound? Well, imagine the epic, open-road feel of Bruce Springsteen, mixed with the hazy, dreamy layers of psychedelic rock. It's built on these classic guitars and driving beats, but it's all filtered through this modern, kind of melancholic vibe. It's awesome.
And they didn't stop there. This wasn't some fluke. They followed up that Grammy with another fantastic, highly praised album in 2021, which just proves their creative vision is as strong as it's ever been.
So, when you look at the whole story, the partnership, the split, the revolving door of musicians, the personal pain, and then the incredible success, what's the big takeaway from all of it?
I think it's this. The war on drugs is proof of the power of a singular vision. It shows that even when you're facing constant change and huge personal challenges, if you hold on to your artistic focus, you can turn all that struggle into something truly beautiful, expansive, and lasting.